evening, everybody. Welcome to the Talkin Kop. We're here for another full-time match reaction. I'm your host, Matt. I'm joined by Chris. I'm joined by Ashley. It is finished on a rather miserable-looking South Coast in Southampton. Southampton 1, Liverpool 2, and we march on into a semifinal, which is starting to get kind of exciting, Chris. We're getting towards the business end now. A double-leg semifinal and a final, and
yeah, we quite like doing one in the League Cup at the moment. You know, we're on course to potentially do our third final in 4 years. So listen, that's a good win. That we probably went. We'll talk about Lanza. We probably went stronger than we expected, but he definitely did his pre-planned subs. And look, we finished the game with children in midfield, and it actually was a young midfield, and then we had centre mids playing fullback, centre back. I think we had one defender. I think Jota started playing centre mid for shits and giggles. It was a bit of a mishmash what we're to do. But look, as long as you got the job done, that was the main thing. And Liverpool again in another semi-final. I'll tell you one thing though, it's going to be a cracking semi-final because it's Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, and then one off Spurs or Man United. So whichever semi-final you get now, they're all going to be, exciting semi-finals and a tough final. So, happy days.
Yeah, exactly. More games, just what everybody needs. And Ashley, it was certainly a lot for us to talk about. I mean, even just in terms of lineups, like when the lineup comes out and you're like, okay.
I honestly couldn't give you a description of like who was playing where throughout this game. There was so much movement, and I guess that's why it's really exciting.
Got that echo.
Did I just have some really weird feedback, or was that just me?
No, it was my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, before we get into it, I'm just going to run through these real quick. Derek McCormick, who is being unbelievably generous with the Christmas spirit, giving us a €50 super chat, which is unbelievably generous, Derek. That money, of course, will go into our two charities that we're raising money for, fan supporting food banks in Liverpool, the Lighthouse Cafe in Dublin. So thank you very much for giving me the early, easy segue into that. And People of the Mouse becoming a new member on YouTube. $3.99 a month if you want to become a member on YouTube. Never miss a show live in the chat. All the shows are available. You just might not get them live if you're not a member. But if you're the member, that is I believe as they say, the business. Chris, you seem to have a little bit of the, I don't know, like Alejandro Garnacho's texting you lineups early because you're dripping out little lineup rumors early. You said Trent was seen playing left back, though.
That was a rumor going around that Trent was going to play left back. I thought, well, I could see that because I bet they put Jones right back. I mean, Jones didn't even get in the squad, which was quite nice. Yeah, there just seems to be lots of certain rooms you see on social media. But when they see the same room 3 or 4 times, you're like, well, there might be something in this. And it was, Naoni was going to get his first start. Endo was going to play in defence. I was surprised Trent was involved because I thought none of the main back four were involved. But in the end, he got 45. Gomez got 45. And
gets rid of that Trent being injured narrative, though.
Say again, sorry.
I said it gets rid of that Trent being injured narrative that was going on during the last game. Remember how everyone was sort of like, oh, well, he's not playing to his fullest potential because he might still be injured. If he was still injured, there's no way he would have played tonight.
No, my thing was not that he was injured. It was that he was knackered in terms of, I think it's lack of match sharpness and, getting up to his weight for there. So, that's what I think. But yeah, I was quite happy with I was intrigued by the lineup because it was a bit of like, well, because I was thinking like Gomes would still say centre mid. I thought, wonder a centre back. So I was thinking, who's going to play where? But listen, Endo did really well, bringing shape. Do you remember Lucas Leiva at centre back? It's felt those sort of vibes. So it was good fun. But to be fair, actually, the way we played because we were going to dominate the ball, actually, probably playing a bit deeper, probably suits him, give him a bit more time on the ball.
Yeah. I mean, Ashley, seeing as that we don't have a Sunday night show following us, we get to talk in much broader strokes, which is always fun on a midweek match reaction. But a lot of people in the chat saying Endo man of the match. I'll go early and say I think he was also my man of the match. I thought Endo was fantastic. And, people have said, myself included, that, it just doesn't feel like Endo fits into the role that Slot wants for him. If this is the role that Arne Slot wants for Wataru Endo, because I thought he looked like he was enjoying the hell out of his role tonight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing that you can't say about Endo is that he lacks character. Like, he is an amazing, amazing character where even though he's not playing, he shows up when he's asked to play, and he gives, like, he's captain of his national team. He gives a captain's performance whenever he shows up, and he might not be, up to our starting 11 level per se, but his effort can't be faulted. And I think today that's what you really saw. Like, you saw his effort and you saw that he's still giving his all for the team, even though he's not playing. And that's all you could possibly ask for from a bench player. So yeah, I agree. I think that he was definitely up there for man of the match. I'm also going to give a shout out to Kelleher because I think he did a really great job today. And there were a few smart saves, but I'm sure we'll get to that at the end of the show.
Yeah. I mean, Chris, the other player that's in that Endo category of, I don't know if he's good enough, he's just there to fill out the bench sort of thing, was Tyler Morton. And I thought he also had quite a good game.
Yeah, the 3 games he's played in the League Cup, he's played well, which goes back to probably Kev's frustration is there a shout that they maybe should have had a few more minutes than they have done to see games out. But most of the game did a fine job alongside McAllister, and then decided to be a right back for a bit, which he did all right. He did all right with that as well. Probably apart from the goal, which we'll come to, where I think him and Kwanzaa can do better with it. But in general, we're asking players, to fill in positions that isn't natural to them, and they all did. They all did largely fine. I mean, I actually thought the first half was probably the most routine I've seen in an away game for probably a few games now. That was actually a pretty straightforward first half 2-0. You kind of thought, oh well, we haven't had this for a while. Second half made it more interesting than it needed to be. But I was actually impressed with the first half because I thought as a team we did really well.
Yeah, and the conditions were just awful when it comes on, and they're cutting to shots of Arne Slot sitting up in the stands, and it looks like it's filmed on like 50-year-old CCTV or something like that with all the grain going across it. And I thought that was pretty obvious in the first couple of minutes. Like, maybe it was just nobody had their shooting boots on, but it seemed like anytime you tried to play any sort of long crossfield ball, it was just kind of going out of play. But I mean, the Portons weren't great. I have it down at about 10 or 15 seconds into the game, Ashley, that right from the kickoff, they hump the ball long and Kwanzaa gets done and gives away a foul. And it's like, oh shit, it's going to be a long night. But in his defense, I felt that he kind of... 2
seconds, precisely.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, is that what we're in for? I wasn't ready for that kind of night. I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit under the weather. So I was hoping for some sort of uplift. But yeah, that was not a great sign of things to come. But thankfully, that wasn't actually what happened. I mean, they put up a decent fight, I think, considering the way that they performed against Spurs. They didn't just lay down. Credit where credit is due. They were playing against our kind of U23 team for the majority of that game. But, I thought they showed spirit, especially just, they just lost their manager. I don't know if that's the new manager bounce, but it was a spirited performance from them.
Yeah, it was something of like an interim manager whimper, perhaps. Both the 19th minute, Southampton have a counterattack. There's really good control in the middle of the park from a ball that's absolutely fizzed in, and it creates a 3v2. And then the danger man from our league game against him a couple of weeks ago, Tyler Dibbling, has a poor shot. It's saved. And the next thing I have a note, Chris, if there's a player that needed to score a goal, and not just score any goal, but to score a goal where you get a little bit of luck and the keeper slips, my God, it was Darwin Núñez needed to score that chance.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good idea by Trent. The deflection helps, But to be fair to Darwin, the touch kills the ball, and then it helps the keeper slip. And look, he finishes it pretty well. He needed that, And I like the fact he gives it to the crowd. He's one of those players. He'll take it, but he'll give it out, and he was quite happy to tell the crowd what he thought of them. But yeah, I always think for Darwin, not only does he need a goal, I think he needs these sort of goals, which is the opening goal or an equaliser or a winner, not the fourth and a 4-0, because I don't think that really helps his confidence. It's got to be a goal that matters, if you know what I mean. So getting the opening goal in an away game will, I think, just do him good. His all-round performance was okay. I don't think he was fantastic, but I thought he was just okay, which is fine. And most people won't care as long as he bangs a goal in most games. So yeah, he definitely needed it, and I was quite pleased that he got one.
Yeah, it's certainly, we now have evidence of both ends of the spectrum of Darwin playing well and not scoring, and Darwin playing not so well and scoring. And I'll say, when he scores, it's much less frustrating. Like, it's easier to look past he had a few loose touches here and there, and like his pressing was good throughout the entire game. He was pretty relentless in terms of keeping up the press from the front. But like his overall attacking game was fairly off the mark, but he scores, so that's much better. After the goal, though, Ashley, it's just like with Slot in the stands and Sipka Hulshoff running the show, it was like he just took his players and just kind of re-rolled all of their positions on the pitch, because you saw Elliott move from right wing into kind of an attacking midfield. You saw Trainioni move out to the right wing. McAllister move to the left. And I felt that's when Harvey Elliott really came into the game, because up until our goal, it felt like the ball was being like funneled down our left-hand side. Trainioni was getting a ton of the ball. Him and Gakpo were trying to link up, and poor Alexis McAllister is the right side at 8, and Harvey Elliott at right wing had almost nothing to do for the first 20 minutes. And then it flips on its head, and all of a sudden Harvey Elliott is impacting the game.
Yeah. I mean, at that point in time, he definitely started to stand out. And I think, and like, good for him. I think that he needed this. He needed, he needed the goal. I don't know if that's where we're at in terms of like in the game per se, but
basically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the goal came in and around 32 minutes, where he was drifting into space and he picked out that bottom corner so beautifully. And it was just a lovely little interplay between Gakpo and Elliott. It went Gakpo, Endo, Gakpo, Elliott, well worked through the back line. And then there was just so much composure at the back. And I think Manning it was that tried to stop that shot. I don't know if he got a slight deflection off of that Elliott goal, but it just, if anyone needs a goal to just kind of get themselves going, I think it was Chris that said like the two players that needed a goal in this game got the goal. And I think that's what we saw. And I think, Nunes, I like particularly that first touch that Nunes had in his goal, like credit where credit is due, because he doesn't come across as like a nuanced player, and the way that he took that down, and granted McCarthy slips, but I think that Nunes really needed that goal, and I think Elliott did too. So I was pleased for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. David Marcus kind of echoing the same thing I had said. It was strange we went down the left so much. We had so much experience down the right. Was that surprising to you, Chris, or did you like the fact that the youngest player on the pitch, Trainioni getting his first start for Liverpool, only I think his third appearance, handful of minutes, that we seem to be like, do it?
I think it was just he settled in his part, but I think it was more get the ball to Gakpo, because Gakpo in this competition is excellent. The only surprise tonight is Gakpo didn't score, because that's normally all he does in League Cup games. Just turns up, scores, and goes home. He's pretty good at that. But no, look, not only on the ball, he's clearly got an eye for a pass. He's got very good movement. I think as he gets older, he's got to fill out a bit more. And I think that'll help him. I think that's the only thing we saw today. I think his lack of physicality sometimes caught him out. But look, he's 17 years old. There are not many 17-year-olds who are built ready to play men's football physically. So, but look, I think it also shows, because he trains with the first team, they don't view him as some kid. They view him as, well, he's one of the players, and they have to give him the ball. You worry when it is a player that they don't want to give the ball to him and try to protect. But it's just like, no, we'll give the ball to tight areas, because basically that's what you're supposed to do, to play for us. So, no, it was good to see.
Yeah, with the exception of, I think, like his build. And I would say kind of the same thing about Tyler Morton, is they both just look like they could throw another 5-10 pounds of bulk on and fill out their frames a little bit more. I mean, Nioni is still a child, though, so you get him a little bit of a pass. Just on the Darwin Núñez thing, I felt that his movement for Elliott's goal was actually pretty critical, in terms that he pulls the two center halves away as he drifts to the left side of the box. And then shortly after the goal, the next note I have is we have a 4v3, and Darwin has the ball, and just it's not the right decision. He just slows everything down and absolutely wastes it. And then Ashley,
the only thing I will stick up for Darwin, the two lads either side of him do fuck all movement. They literally stay level with him, and you can see he's like looking, going like he's waiting for one of them to make a run behind or do something, but they all just stayed level with him. So whatever way he passed it, it was automatically going to kill it. So it wasn't a good pass. Don't get me wrong; he could have done better with the pass, but I don't think Gakpo or Elliott gave anything to help with that either.
It doesn't look good when he's got the ball at his feet, though. Just after that, though, Ashley, we recover the ball, and it would have been such a lovely goal. It's a great save in the end by Alex McCarthy, but Trent puts in one of his like patented side kick balls, and McAllister catches it so beautifully, and would have been an absolutely lovely goal. No,
You're on mute, Ash. You're still on mute, Ash.
no,
Awesome. That was a really good point that I just said.
I agree.
I was saying that I think McCarthy deserves the credit for that shot. I think there was a lot of power. It was low and in the corner. And I think that if Kelleher had made that shot, we'd be singing his praises. So I think it was unlucky from Macca. I think it was very well worked again on our part. I think the first half, we really did a lot of creative interplay to get those shots out. And yeah, I mean, it was unlucky, but credit where credit is due. McCarthy did well.
Yeah. Sam Tandy says, I forgot McAllister was playing up until that shot, which is...
I feel like he had to do a lot of grunt work.
Yeah. And the last thing I have in the first half is Endo putting in an absolutely incredible tackle deep in our end after Gakpo gets a little cute on it. And I mean, Chris, we hit halftime. It's 2-0. I was delighted with the first half. Like, I thought it was great. Our players were just kind of moving around all over. We got young kids on the pitch, not looking out of place. You know, guys that need minutes are getting minutes. Guys that need goals are getting goals. It looked like it was just going to be a lovely, lovely day.
It did. And I think you said that in our chat. And then it all went a bit pear-shaped after that. So we're blaming you.
All right. I mean, I did say in the Fulham game that we needed to score early, and we did score early. So I'm not purely
No,
Jonah.
we didn't.
Yeah, we did. We scored after like 90 seconds.
In the league game?
Against Fulham, yeah.
The 2-2 at the weekend?
Yeah.
The one we went
Mobley's
1-0.
crossing the Gakpo.
The one went 1-0 down in.
That's I said at halftime, and we were 1-0 down. We need to go early. 90 seconds.
Well, I didn't see it. I was in the crowd. I was in the crowd. I wasn't listening to you.
Oh, you were on your phone so much you wouldn't even know it.
You've been
over here.
Have you been to Anfield? You can't get a reception there for anything. So I wouldn't know.
A lot of messages that came from you. All right, before we bicker too much, let's get it back into a little bit of the holiday spirit. Footballprizes.co.uk has an incredible offer on right now. I am not prone to exaggeration in these ad reads ever, but this one has one ticket shy of 10,000 tickets being sold. There are 20 instant win prizes. You got jerseys from Crouch, Torres, Litmanen, Alonso, Fabinho, Henderson, Trent, Hipia, Agger, Arbeloa. There's a set of signed Pepe Reina gloves, and there's 2 pairs of hospitality tickets for the Leicester match up for grabs, and tickets are 39 pence. 39 pence. So not the usual £3.99. These are 40-cent tickets. So head on over to footballprizes.co.uk. The contest closes this Friday. So I'd imagine at 40 pence, the tickets are going to go pretty quickly. So hopefully somebody from in here can get in there and get something won nicely.
Hopefully me.
Because you need more match tickets. That's what you need. More match tickets.
I'll take an instant prize.
You get to the match more than anyone else on this show.
Exactly.
I mean, I do live 20 minutes away. That probably helps. You know, I don't have to get a flight. I don't have to get a flight.
I say that from a position of jealousy, not anything else.
Yes. Bastard. It looks like Ashley's working on quotes. So, Chris, I'll stick with you. Halftime changes. Changes. And not only that, 2 faces that is damn good to see back.
It is. The most confusing is that they said Trent Gomez coming. I thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. And said he's bringing on Chiesa and Tsimikas. And we went, well, Tsimikas will go left back for Gomez. Well, Chiesa's not going right back. Who's the right back? And then I think we had a 10-minute debate going, who's captain? I think Kev went, it's Gomez. I went, no, Gomez has gone off. Oh, it's Kelleher. No, it's not Kelleher.
Yeah, we're not sure.
It took us 10 minutes to go, oh, it's Endo. So I didn't know who the captain was. And eventually went, oh, Morton's playing right back. That makes sense. Then went, so what's the midfield? And going, McAllister, Naoni, and Elliott, the shortest midfield you've ever seen. They're all about 5'5". So
and you saw that when they brought on, what is his name, Oenachu at the end.
Oenachu, yeah.
The human wardrobe. Honestly, he's the biggest man ever. He's a human wardrobe. He's a good player as well, to be fair. He's an absolute handful. But yeah, so it's like, oh, okay, this will be interesting. I'll be honest. I think Chiesa only showed me very slight glimpses. I think I messaged you guys at one point saying, "Has he touched the ball yet?" Because it felt like 20 minutes went by and we're like, "I don't think he's even seen the ball."
I feel like the second you sent that message was the
then
second
he hit
you
shot.
had that shot.
He hit a shot, but before that, you were like going, "I don't think he's touched it." But he didn't like it. He didn't like he was enjoying the cold, windy weather down south and a bit of rough treatment. But look, it's only his 4th start, so I have already seen people on social media writing him off, saying he's not one for this league. This league's too physical for him. Like, come on, lads, it's only his 4th ever appearance for the club. I think you've got to give him a little bit more time. There were glimpses. I mean, one thing he hasn't lost is his pace, because he's absolutely rapid when he gets going. And I'll be honest, on our side, that's something we desperately need is more pace.
It certainly doesn't hurt, especially when you've got, Harvey Elliott and Alexis McAllister.
Not renowned for their pace, are they?
Yeah, not the fleetest of foot. 56th minute, we have a counter. It's another one where Darwin Núñez is just too fixated on Cody Gakpo on his left because Chiesa is in acres of space. And then, Ashley, we come on to their goal, and I'll set my stall out early. I thought the league was serious about head injuries. I thought when a player goes down with an injury to the head, the referee was supposed to blow the game up regardless of the state of the game that it's in. Endo takes that ball right in the face and goes down, and Simon Hooper lets the play carry on from there. We don't cover ourselves in glory, and Cameron Archer does. What's your take on that? Because I felt the ref should have blown it up.
I think there was just not that much time in between the incident and the goal, but I had the same reaction to you where I was like, what happened to the head injury rule? Because, I mean, it wasn't one of those head injuries where the player's faking a head injury. The ball just smacked straight into his face, and he was dazed and confused for a good 30 seconds. And he was on his knees in the center circle while Cameron Archer was running the other way. So in terms of clarity that there was an injury, I think it was pretty damn clear. But, Archer obviously went the other way. Kwanzaa and Morton, I think they kind of just got in each other's way. They were both trying to put the fire out there. And I mean, again, credit where credit is due. It was a fantastic finish from Archer. Kelleher wasn't getting there. And it gave them a little bit of life in the game. I think at that point in time, we kind of thought this is done and dusted. And all of a sudden, the tables kind of turned for, I want to say about 15 minutes after that shot, because they really were having a go.
Scouser Pete. See, this is why we like the members so much. Another blooper from Hooper. Why am I?
Done. Good job,
well
Scouser Pete.
Well done. Yeah.
Chris, what's your feelings on the goal?
I kind of know. I know where you're coming from because there is a whack in his face, but I'm like, I know where Ashley's coming from as well. Though I think it's literally hit in the face and it's straight down. Ball's getting a shot off, so I don't think it's enough a gap. Both Morton and Kwanzaa have to show him down the outside. You know what he's going to do. I think Kwanzaa at the moment, he's just going through a rough patch where he's not getting his body positions right. He's not angling people where he should do, and he's just that half a yard too slow. Part of that is probably because he's not playing as much games at the moment, which I think what helped him last year was...
He doesn't have a settled partnership with anyone either.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought that in the Fulham game where I know Kev was giving Trent pelters, but in the ground by me, the biggest annoyance was Kwanzaa, which was for the equaliser in the Fulham game. You're like, you know where the ball's going. It's that same pass they've been doing all game, and he doesn't read the cutout, and he doesn't use his physicality. I mean, he's a big lad. He's a physical unit. He doesn't use it. I thought it was, again, just a bit of naivety. But look, he's 20? He's a baby for a centre-back, and this is the joy of having young centre-backs is they'll go through games like that, and then they come out the other end of it. I'm sure if you look at 20-year-old Virgil van Dijk or look at 20-year-old Canate, 20-year-old Joe Gomez, they were probably making similar mistakes. That's kind of what happens with very young centre-backs.
Yeah, and, I think I said this on the show last week. We probably all allowed ourselves as Liverpool fans to get a little carried away with the Kwanzaa hype last season because he was good last season, but he's got plenty of time on his side, so hopefully he can be handled well. Ibu Konate coming back will not be a bad thing at all for him. Brian O'Halloran's wondering, where did Southampton get the Michael Clark-Duncan regen from? The guy's a beast. He'll cause mayhem this season. He does come on, Ashley, at about the 70th minute and almost immediately causes mayhem, kind of picking up where he left off from the league game before he injured himself or something. I can't remember exactly.
Fell over and then needed a stretcher or something.
That's right.
Didn't need a stretcher, kind of needed a stretcher. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
At least. Yeah, he came on at 72 minutes, and then Elliot, I think, fouled him, or it fouled someone, and I just had a note, has to be careful, because I think Elliot was actually quite lucky not to get a second yellow card there. But yeah, he was in, but he was offside, and so he was immediately causing problems. Who was it that also? I don't know. Yeah, no, it was definitely him.
Speaking of second yellows, the number 4 for Southampton, literally about 10 minutes of the first half, he just bear hugs one of our players to the ground, and Hooper gives nothing.
Oh, was that was the full rugby tackle?
Full rugby tackle first half, nothing's given. I thought a gentle shirt tuck's a yellow these days, so a rugby tackle should be. And then second half, he just hugging Elliot. Just says, "I'm not running back, lads. I'm just going to hold him." It was bizarre tactics.
Based on what they allow on set pieces these days and corners, especially in Arsenal games, I think that's probably allowed at this point in time, which is wild, which shouldn't be, but it is.
Yeah. I felt the standard the officiating standard was a bit low today, but it was Simon Hooper, so don't have too many high hopes for that. Sugawara, who came on for Southampton at about the hour mark, he was a bit of a danger man, Ashley, in a complete role reversal of his last time against Liverpool, where he gave away the handball at the back post for the penalty that ended up being somewhat important. They just kept giving him the ball, and he was peppering our box with crosses, and it was starting to feel like, shit, they're going to get a second goal here.
Yeah, well, that was the point where, like, I wasn't quite sure what Slot's plan was. I wasn't sure if Slot was basically just saying, our subs are pre-planned, and we're putting them out there, and if they can win the game, they can win the game. If they can't, they can't. Because it felt like Southampton definitely were the ones that had the momentum at that point, and we didn't really have anyone on the bench to shore things up. We were putting on more and more kids, and it was sort of just a trust the kids moment. And at that point in time, I was getting a little bit nervous, which I didn't think I was going to, as the way that the game was progressing in the first half. But I think they really stepped it up for that period of time, somewhere between, I don't know, about 65 minutes and about 80 minutes. They made some adjustments, and they just showed a level of aggression that they didn't show in the first half.
Yeah, about the, I believe it was Flynn Downs and Harvey Elliott, and they both got yellow carded for it. But Red Steve describes it as aggressive cuddling, and it will be a mainstay of Christmas parties up and down the country this week, which is borderline demonetizing level. Sam Tandy, though, reminding me to continue to look at my notes, says Kwanzaa did a brilliant block after they scored as well at the back post. That was shortly after Kelleher, Chris, makes what on replay is a great save. Across from Sugawara, and it's flicked on by, I think it might have been Archer.
It was Archer, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a reaction save, and then Morton was the one that cleared it off the line. That was just good defensive work all around.
Yeah, that's good for it, Keller, because he got some pelters after the Newcastle game, as we saw, Matt. We had lots of people writing him off, saying he's terrible keeper, shouldn't have him, he's awful, the usual hyperbole after a disappointing draw. So it was good for him to get it out of the system. So yeah, top save. It's got to the point with Kelleher, it's a bit like the Alisson save sometimes. You got to go, oh yeah, of course he saved it. And you watch him really go, oh no, actually that's really good. But you're so relaxed. That's why I knew the Arch goal was good, because I was like going, oh, that's some finish to beat from there. And you saw the river, oh, it is. Yeah. So you kind of have that calm. I generally have that calms with him. So yeah, all happy.
Yeah, it's the other changes that we make throughout the game. We bring on McConnell and Jota for McAllister and Gakpo, which good minutes in McAllister's leg with a long layoff. Like, did he have 2 weeks off?
Something like
10 days?
Yeah. He missed 2 games.
So good to get some minutes back in his legs, because he will be important in that midfield again going forward. Jota, who came back, seemed to have some sort of an injury again. So getting a few more minutes out of him was excellent.
I think with Justin was just lack of fit.
I think it might have been fitness. Yeah, I don't think.
I think it's lack of fitness. I think coming on against 10 men and have to do a lot of running to get back into, he probably just felt it.
Yeah,
I was surprised to see Simicast get the minutes. Like, I thought he was
Mm.
close, but I didn't realize he was match fit.
Yeah, which was handy because that
Yeah.
means now I don't expect him to start against Spurs, but I would expect him to start against Leicester, which then means you can go back to him and Robbo having a bit of a rotation then, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were getting pretty short in that defensive line, so anyone that's coming in is great. And I know that you probably never thought you'd say welcome back, Simicast. We missed you.
I
but
didn't go that. I didn't go
where we're
that far.
at.
I said it's good to have an option. No, jokes aside.
Close
To
enough.
be fair, jokes aside, actually, no, he has played well this season.
Yeah.
And I will give
And
credit.
he's going to be important because, whether you are of the opinion that Andy Robertson has fallen off a cliff or he's just being overplayed a little bit too much, having Simicast there to be able to kind of do 60-30 with Robertson is going to be helpful.
I think you see the best of Robertson when he's had a bit of a rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that's sometimes what's happening with him at the moment. I think it's too many games in his legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we've have literally no other options to play there. It seems
that's been the problem. Yeah,
having to go again and again and again. I thought James McConnell, the first 10-15 minutes he was on the pitch, I just presumed his internal monologue every time the ball came close to him was, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Like he looked very clumsy and awkward, but settled into it. And then
is that his first game since the League Cup final?
No, I don't know if his first unders. I think he's probably played for the unders, but I don't think he's played for Liverpool.
Because I think he got injured as well. I'm sure he got injured in pre-season because I think they
were going to send him out on loan.
Yeah, same as Dan's. So we'll do one of those little element of rust. I mean, he loves to tackle and he loves a snide tackle, which I'm all for.
And he did a snide tackle at the end.
Oh yeah, I proper punched there for that one. I love a snide tackle, so it's great.
Yep. Yeah,
well, the other injured player,
the yellow card.
The other injured player we get to see then 85 minutes. Nioni gets to get taken off. That's pretty good debut, full debut for Trey Nioni. But Jaden Dan's coming back and trying to protect a 2-1 lead. Ashley, at that point we have one center half, one fullback, 4 attackers, and what does that make that? 5, 6 midfielders. Like it was kind of a bonkers amalgamation of Liverpool players on the pitch at the end, but it's very nice to see Jaden Dan's back. And if he can be an emergency break glass option for us when Jota inevitably gets injured again, it will be nice to have.
Yeah. And you know what? These are the kids that won us this cup last year, whether it's McConnell, whether it's, Dan's, it's nice to see them kind of come full circle and get back to where they were. And I'm glad that they were able to get fit in time to play this game and thankfully probably even get minutes in the next round. I don't know because it's going to be a tough challenge whoever we face, but I think they might get minutes in the Champions.
They might get minutes in the Champions League instead, because of the way that
that's true.
The way we have performed in the Champions League, it sounds odd. We could probably rest players in the Champions League for the League Cup, which is a very odd sentence to say, but that's probably where we are now in that league position, which is quite a nice place to be, really.
Yeah. It's just nice to see them come back.
Yeah, McGlinchey's pointing out that Dan should be starting the Accrington Stanley game, hopefully in the new year. Who are Accrington Stanley?
Very good.
Thank you. It's not a joke that I should get, but I've just learned it, so I'm doing my best. I mean, 90th minute, Chris, a great way to round this off would have been if I'm not sure. It was Taylor Harwood-Bellis that makes the block on it, but Jota does fantastically, plays the pass off to Chiesa, cuts back inside. That ball is goal bound, and that would have just been
so good.
That would have been a cherry on top. But it's a great block.
And the rebound wasn't bad either. yeah, that would have made life a bit easier. But look, I think 3-1 actually probably would have been a fair score, but I was fine with 2-1. But yeah, that would have made the last 6 minutes a little bit easier.
Just a little bit, because not too many minutes after that, Ashley, and we have to talk about it because it is the contentious call of the game, even if it wouldn't have had, I don't think, a massive effect on the outcome. Long punt upfield. Mateus Fernandez makes a great run from deep to keep himself onside, and Jarrell Kwanzaa kind of bookends his match with 2 really brain-dead decisions under long balls. Is that a red card for you, Ashley?
I think seeing it back, seeing the angles of his arm, like reaching up over the shoulder. Yeah, I think so. I think if VAR was there, I think he would have been penalized. I understand why it wasn't called, not just because Hooper is not the best referee, but because the angle that he had, I don't think he could see the arm reaching.
The linesman should see it though.
He should. I mean, I don't think it was a penalty. I think it was outside of the box, but I do think
No,
it was a card.
It was
and a free kick.
Obviously, you guys are in the chat with me. Kev seems to think I'm getting old, and he's like, he's just taller. That's what it is. It's like that's roles reversed, and that's one of our players going through. We will be screaming blue murder, calling the PGMOL every under the sun for not giving us the red card and the free kick. I think he gets away with it because again, he's at half a yard not reading the flight of the ball, and I think that's
there was
just
a weird bounce. Like there was
it's just a little habit he's got to get out of his game.
Not read it correctly.
Yeah, it's just a little habit he's got out of his game. Again, lack of game time, but he's going to have to learn, quickly. But again, like I said, he's 20. It's these sort of things are going to happen.
Time is on his side. Sam Tandy with another angle to look at this says, I can see why the ref didn't give a free kick. Look at the side angle. Fernandez waits another 10 yards to go down to try to get a pen, in my opinion. If he goes down as soon as contact happens, then it would have been given, which I can see the logic behind that and the logic behind Fernandez trying to do that because, winning a central free kick 30 yards out in the dying embers of the game is one thing, but potentially being able to win a penalty in the dying embers of a game is another thing completely. I think he was a bit lucky in terms of that. It was clear that Fernandez was trying to buy the foul.
Yeah.
He helped him along the way though.
But I mean, Kwanzaa just took his wallet out and was like, there you go. I'll help you buy the foul.
Yeah,
like
take my money.
Exactly. Yeah. So another Hooper blooper, I guess. But I don't think that it was as simple to say of like, well, if Kwanzaa gets a red card there, then Liverpool go on to lose the game or anything like that. Like there was still work to be done from there. And tough night for free kicks and whatnot.
I think there's a fair point in the comment there where Salah gets these types of fouls all the time and he never gets the free kick. I think that's a fair comment.
That doesn't mean it's not a free kick.
It doesn't.
It just means it just highlights it
when that happens.
Yeah,
but
we've been on the receiving end of a lot of them. That's all it means. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not a free kick. It just means,
It
other
just
fans are
means that the
experiencing what we
refs are
get.
wonderfully inconsistent. And I say that tongue in cheek.
That's about the nicest thing you could say.
Yeah.
Well, let's go and do our man of the match honorable mention and needs to improve. Chris, I'll let you have first kick at the cat. Who would you like?
I'll go for the open goal. Man of the match, I'll give it to Endo. Van Ash's got to think of someone else. Honorable mention. Elliot actually thought had a decent game. I thought that was again good minutes in his belt. He gets 90 minutes, kind of what he needs. Could do better. I think it's Kwanzaa personally.
Yeah, Ashley, what's your take on the three candidates?
I think I gave it to Kelleher in the beginning. I think that coming back from that Newcastle error, which is exactly what it was. I mean, we all kind of wanted him to, brush that off. I think he did. I think he made a couple of really great saves. He was like the one constant while everything else was shifting in front of him and all the players were shifting position. So I think for him, that was great. And I think I'm going to give it to Gomez for the honorable mention. I think as a senior player, really organizing the kind of chaos of the back line. I know he was only on for half of the game, but I think he did really well for the half. He kept
dibbling quite, didn't he? The danger man.
Yeah, so I think he did really well. Could do better. I don't know. I mean, I think it's harsh to kind of pull anyone out of this because it was such a disjointed system. I don't really have a could do better.
Oh, aren't you?
I don't know. I don't want to kick Kwanzaa while he's down.
So the answer's Kwanzaa. So the answer's Kwanzaa then. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. You don't have to kick Kwanzaa when he's down.
I don't think he subscribed, so I think we're okay.
And I'll show you an alternative way because I agree with Tom Boland. Man of the match for me was Endo. I just thought he just looked like he was having a blast out there
Morton's
tonight.
a good shout for an honorable mention though as well.
Yeah, I'll give the honorable mention to Morton just simply for the shift he puts in at right back. it's not his natural position. He might have played there for Hull, or Bolton or somebody like that in the championship. But, he's now playing for Liverpool. This is his best opportunity to have a career at a top level club. This is it. This is his audition. And the management has asked him to play 45 minutes at right back. And I thought defensively, he was quite good. On the ball, he was a little bit poor. And this, I'm sure some people in the chat will find this contentious. My needs to improve is going to be Federico Chiesa, because with the exception of his blocked shots, the other one that's cleared off the line, I think it's a shot that's going horrifically wide. But before
I think it's hit the corner flag.
Yeah, that was
it was going to be one of my favorite things, which is the shot from inside the box that goes out for a throw-in. And it's funny when it happens on another team, not so much for our team. But I thought somebody in the chat said he looked lost. I thought he looked fucking freezing cold out there and just couldn't physically get his body to move, which I get it. The weather conditions are a little bit nasty in Southampton, but you go at my door and it's minus 30 and it's snowing and windy as well too. So, chum up, Federico. Like, be better. I get it. He's getting back, but
great nutmeg on the sideline.
Yeah, he had a great nutmeg on the sideline.
He'll score against Spurs. You'll forgive him, though, won't you?
I will forgive him. That's why I'm saying he needs to do better. So if he scores against Spurs,
in like 6 months.
He wasn't showing the application I found. Like, I know the ball was more going down the left because Gakpo was always going to be more dangerous. It's not his first appearance, Kyle. I believe it's his 4th appearance. It's just he didn't look like he wanted to do the running and the chasing and the harrying. And yeah, I was just a little disappointed in that. So towards the end, he got a little bit better. When we had the 4 attackers on the pitch, Jota seemed more willing to pass him the ball than Darwin was throughout the rest of the game. But he can do better, because I did not want to kick Kwanzaa when he's down, because I thought there were big parts of that game where Jarell Kwanzaa played pretty good. So
he's unfortunate to get this habit at the moment, being at the scene of the crime too much. Which
I am really glad that he kind of got away with that at the end, because if he had gotten the red card,
because every League Cup game so far has been caught out by something.
Oh my gosh, I feel like the narrative just would have really spun on him. And he's young, and I think he's strong enough to kind of mentally deal with the pressure, but it would have been sad to see him have to deal with another one of those things.
All right, well, let's fly through the quotes. Before we do that, Richard Howell earlier on in the show gifted 5 Talkin Kop memberships. So 5 lucky non-members were able to pick up a free 1-month membership courtesy of Richard Howell. So thank you very much for that, Richard. To the 5 people who got those, probably should have shouted your names out when it happened. It's like an hour ago, but welcome to the community. If you want to get involved in the Telegram chat, download Telegram, get yourself set up. Email Gav, talkinkop1@gmail.com. Let him know your YouTube name, your Telegram name, and he'll get you added into the group. We're going to be pushing 60 members here soon, so that's good. And then another huge thanks again, Derek McCormick started the show off with a €50 super chat, which is absolutely fantastic. So after the match, Tyler Morton says, playing with this club, with these fans, gives you so much energy. Harvey Elliott says, Southampton are a side full of confidence, and they are not scared to play out of the back and causes problems. Morton
Southampton are a side full of confidence. They just got smashed in the last game.
I think he had one of those things where he had to recall one of those quotes.
I'll give my stock media answer. Bottom of the league, Southampton, who've won 1 game all season. They're doing really well.
I mean, they're certainly confident when it comes to playing out from the back, because they keep trying, even when it blows up spectacularly in their faces. So
you're doing bad when the crowd's cheering or pumped forward. Get in! We're going long. We're going long.
Well, times have changed around Southampton. This isn't Russell Martin Southampton anymore. Tyler Morton says it's tough staying ready and being ready to play, but everyone who was chosen today was ready. Arne Slot, nice and dry after the match, saying this club is known for this. These players train with us on a daily basis, and it is nice to see they showed they can play at this level. Now the next step is to be capable of playing for LFC. On Endo, Slot says, if I have to give someone a big compliment, it is Wata. Different positions that shows his mentality. To go along with that, Endo, 11 duels, 1 out of 13, 4 tackles, 1, 79 to 85 passing, 93%, and 4 free kicks, 1, while being the captain and wearing a mouth guard, which is just lovely.
You can see why he wears a mouth guard, by the way.
He's not afraid to throw on himself.
He puts everything into it. Bless him.
Yes. Arne says, we have to defend the trophy. We want to compete in every trophy. This is one of them. First half, really good, 2-0 up. It didn't come as a complete surprise to concede a goal. We got a bit sloppy. Arna says, I have such a good staff. These 3 staff members, even when I wasn't around, were able to bring this game over the line. Somebody's trying to steal Ashley's job. Cathal Robinson. Arna Slot on the Carabao Cup says, we have to defend this trophy. The players won it, and Jurgen won it, which is a nice little homage to that. Oh, see, look at this. Cathal's, he's coming for you, Ashley.
This is correct.
Oh, you already had that one up there. Old news. Get that out of here. But I do like this comment from Madge Apple, Ashley, that tonight just confirms that Arne Slot knows what he's doing. And I felt also the almost 90 minutes of playing with 10 men and having to shuffle players around against Fulham on the weekend kind of lended itself nicely for today, because I really enjoyed the willingness to change things around that we're seeing from Arne Slot.
Yeah, and you know what? We've had this conversation with talked about Pep a little bit and his inability to use academy players and switch things around when the game isn't going in his favor per se. And a lot of times we've used Klopp as kind of the counterpoint, saying, well, he can kind of rearrange the kids and put a team together, even though he doesn't have his starters, and really make it work. And granted, it's Southampton, but I think there's a lot of credit that's due to Slot for being able to put that team together with, I mean, all of us agreed that was a really disjointed lineup of midfielders and defenders and attackers that really didn't it didn't jump off the page as obvious to me. So it shows, in my view, that he knows what he's doing. He's a really fucking good coach.
Yeah. And Pierce Richmond, you'd put this in a few times, and I thought I had it saved, but thank you for reminding me. 20 games unbeaten in all competitions in a single season. First time since March 1996. So, I mean, credit where it's due, Chris. Arne Slot just keeps us taking over.
Yeah, and you know what he's sitting there thinking, don't you? Fucking
Nottingham Forest.
you just know he's thinking that.
It's the only game he lost this entire calendar year, which is crazy.
You know, if we actually go on to win the Premier League, that's going to be his. So, how do you feel about winning the Premier League? Fucking Forest. That's all he's going to say.
Yeah.
Well, jokes aside, that is impressive. When you think like how good like the 1920 Liverpool side was, you know, that won the league, you know, and the one season before, which came second by a point and won the Champions League, didn't manage to do that in all comps. It's impressive.
Yeah, and so we just need to kind of keep going with that, much like we need to keep going in this competition. The other results from tonight, Arsenal 3-2 winners over Crystal Palace. Somebody's birthday, it seems like, came a little bit early this week for Arsenal. And Newcastle, I think it finished 3-1 against them. Spurs against United tomorrow, the draw following that match, I believe. Ashley, given that we know 3 out of the 4 semifinalists with one more match to go, who would you like and who would you not like?
I don't want Arsenal. I just don't want the narrative. I don't want to deal with their fans. I don't want to listen to them right now. You know, it'd be great if we won against them and whatever, but I feel like they need this trophy more than anyone else.
Well, he's got 3.
What?
He's got 3 already, hasn't he?
Well,
so
yeah, you know, 2 of them are plates and not trophies, so whatever. I think I'd like to rematch Newcastle and just get that out of our system, because I'm still peeved about that, you know, error from Kelleher. So I'd like to kind of redeem ourselves from that.
Yeah, and Sam Tandy says the Spurs beat United, football heritage wins us this trophy, as Arsenal, Newcastle, and Spurs will be under huge pressure to win this trophy. Who do you want, Chris?
I think I'm with Newcastle. I also just think over 2 games, they'll just be good games, and you know, games those Newcastle normally are. I can't be asked for Arsenal. I can't be asked for United. So playing them twice in the league. I don't want the
narrative around it.
Playing them twice in the league fucking stresses me out.
Yeah.
So I don't want to play them any more than I have to. And Spurs, I can't make my mind up on them, because at times they look horrendous.
Like Bonnie and Clyde, or not Bonnie and Clyde. What's the guy?
But then they're also that side. You think like if you catch one the wrong way, they can really hurt you. So, I mean, also a North London derby for the semi-finals could be quite good fun if they get past United, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's the other way of thinking of it. See, I wasn't considering the other semi-final. I was only thinking about our game.
If they get knocked, Spurs, Arsenal, North London, 2 legs would be interesting, because let's be honest, Arsenal wouldn't rest players; they'd go full strength, as would Spurs, but Arsenal still need to go full strength in the Champions League, whereas we have a bit more of a chance to rotate.
Yeah.
So that might be a nice way of it. I mean, it would still mean you'll get, if we got to a final, whoever get the final is going to be a ball ache of a tough final. But at least if we got to a final, it would be Chelsea, which would be quite a nice novelty.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do when you get to a final and it's not against Chelsea? Like, I guess you just win in regular time.
That would be nice.
I've no idea. It's so long since we've had a
It's
final.
happened so many times. It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And again,
And as Jonathan points out, Chelsea are the ones who are laughing tonight because that's a couple more games for us, a couple more games for Arsenal, and they get to keep putting out.
It's still a trophy, though, that they're not in. So
it's still a trophy that they'd rather be in. And also, like I've said, we've got a kind FA Cup draw, which we probably heavily rotate for. Because of the Champions League, we can rotate quite a bit for them, which I think they will. So they can actually prioritise that way a little bit. But at some point, Chelsea have got to take, if they've got to take that Europa Conference series, at some point they will do, because when they get to the knockout stages. But we'll see what happens. They'll also take a rhythm and momentum, which is always good for you.
Yeah, I would presume there's going to be some big changes to their registered roster for the knockout stages of the Conference League because, yeah, it might be the Mickey Mouse of the 3 European competitions, but it's still a European trophy. So, you know, and Brian O'Halloran says, never turn your nose up at any trophy. So that goes for the League Cup, the Europa Conference League, all of the actual trophies, which, of course, does not include the Community Shield because nobody includes the Community Shield as a trophy. Any final words before we get out of here, Ashley?
No, I'm proud of the kids on the field for seeing that game out because there was a comment. I sent you guys a message about how the USA commentary was awful after the post-match, saying, you know, that we should have been more mature in seeing that game out. And I looked back and I looked at the average age of our team and it was about 18 years old. And the narrative that was coming out about how, you know, Southampton, you know, were exceeding expectations against a tough Liverpool team. I'm like, guys, this is our U23 team that just pulled through in this game. So I don't want to hear the narratives. I just want to say I'm proud of the kids for playing that game, and I'm proud of Slot for putting that together and coming up with a solution to a really tricky kind of injury crisis, mini crisis that we have going on. So I'm just proud of the whole team.
Crisis, what crisis? Red Steve says the kids are all right. Anything else before we get out of here, Chris?
No, just look forward to Spurs down on Sunday because that is a must-win. Because
they have 1 day less of prep time because they play
do. But I would say that the Arsenal and Chelsea have probably have quite winnable games. So it'll be a bit of scoreboard pressure. We could actually go into a game against Spurs not top of a league, which will be a weird sensation that we've never had before.
Yeah, and I mean, considering that we were 9 points ahead like 3 weeks ago, it would be a real eye opener. I mean, the alternative to that, Chris, is we go into the game still top of the league and going, I can't believe how much Everton has helped us in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, that would be so funny, wouldn't it? Is what helped you win the league? Everton kept beating all the people we needed them to. Thanks. To be fair to Everton, we love taking the piss out of them. I think they have. I think it's in the last month nearly the most clean sheets in Europe, or near the top of it. They barely conceded a goal. They barely scored a goal. I mean, I think they went a whole.
Does that count? Do your own clean sheets when you don't score? Does that count too?
Yeah, but they have at least, which is why they'll stay up. Is they've at least found a way of making themselves tough to beat again, especially at home. Which that's all they need, because then you can pick things off them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and as somebody in the Telegram, I should have written down who it was. It might have been Diz. I think that the topic of Joe Gomez scoring comes up and came up with the perfect answer, which is Joe Gomez is going to score the final derby goal at Goodison. And if that would just
that'd be a nice big goal, wouldn't it?
I would love like a Vincent Kompany moment from Joe Gomez, like
absolute
rocket. Like,
how did you win the league? Joe Gomez scored for 45 yards. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
That would be amazing.
That'd be a 2-hour show. I'm telling you, if Joe Gomez,
we just show it on loop and then get banned.
Yeah.
Demonetize that. Yeah, Cantors is echoing what you're saying there, Chris. Everton have only lost 2 of their last 11 games, which is like almost.
They probably won one of the last 11 as well.
To not play them.
Yeah, but I mean that's like an anti-Man City statistic.
Yeah,
They've
it is
only
like an
lost
advantage,
2 of their last 11, only 1 win in their last 11. Oh boy. But yes, we do have the big match against Spurs coming up, so you'll have a double shot of shows on Sunday with us on right after the match, and then Gav and a motley crew on the Sunday night show as per usual on a Sunday. As for other shows going forward, I imagine that you'll probably get some content there. Gab might be nice and throw a nice little member show in the morning. So if you're a member, make sure you got your notification bells turned on, and you might get a standouts. You might get a 30, might do a build-up show for the Spurs match coming up on the weekend. But it's shaping up to be a tidy little weekend of football, especially because it is absolutely miserable here where I live in Canada right now. So
It's quite
thanks,
wet and
everybody,
windy
for
over
joining
here.
us.
Makes you feel better. It's wet and windy here as well.
Oh, is it windy? It's
Yeah,
minus 30, Chris. It's minus 30.
You chose to live in Canada. No major.
It's minus
Move.
30.
Stop moving.
I can't move.
Oh wait, so
Move.
actually, you moved to go there. So
Is it
shut up, moaning.
colder? Is it colder where you are now than where you were?
Oh, yeah. Way
So-
cold.
So you decided to move to somewhere colder.
Well, I'm from
on
You
here.
That's
moved
on
from
you.
really cold Canada to really, really cold Canada.
Yeah, that's on you. That's on you.
It's not on me. It's lovely here. You guys are all pricks.
Anyways, on that note,
Anyways, don't forget, everybody, the 40 pence tickets, footballprizes.co.uk. Also, don't forget our charities. Thank you again, Derek McCormick, for his amazing €50 super chat for it. But thank you guys all for joining us. Please hit the thumbs up button on your way out. We'll see you guys after the next show. Up the Reds, 2-1 from Southampton. Bye.